What is up, guys? Johnny01 here with another FIFA 17 tutorial. This one's going to be the most important tutorial because it's the defending tutorial, and as you guys know, defense wins games. In FIFA 17 there are quite a few new features and changes, but on defense for the most part it stayed relatively the same. So this is going to be similar to my FIFA 16 defending tutorial, but it's going to go really in detail, so make sure to stay tuned. Make sure to watch all my previous tutorials after this one and subscribe so you don't miss out any future ones. The number one tip on defense is always going to be to stay back, guys, especially with your back line, with those center backs. You do not want to get caught off guard, do not want to get caught off on the counter attack. Bring those center backs in their lane, stay between the ball and the goal, and make the attacker make the mistake, make them run into you, make them do the bad pass or the bad shot. Don't force anything. Don't try to apply pressure with those center backs, because what it's going to do is open up huge gaps and allow them to score easy goals. Guys, get familiar with how to do the jockey, which is the LT button on Xbox and the L2 button on PlayStation. This is the most important move in FIFA 17 defending. Very important. As you see here, it is great because it gives you a really wide base, and when you're running into an opponent, there's a great move to do. Hold that jockey button, hold the left trigger button, and that way you can get a really wide stance and make sure that your feet make contact with the ball and you can stop them. This is great for those center backs. This is great to have really good control on the wings to make sure that they can't trick you by doing skill moves or doing quick movements. This will make sure that you stay in between the ball and the goal. As I said, guys, it's very important for you guys to stay back. So when you want to apply a little bit of pressure, get them out of their comfort zone. Use their CDM, or if you don't have a CDM, use your center midfielders. These guys are the ones you should be controlling the most in defense. They should be the ones running most of the time from side to side all across the pitch, really getting into those attackers, really trying to take the ball away from them and get in passing lanes. That's the most important thing. You want to get in passing and shooting lanes with these guys and really apply a good amount of pressure. Fool them into thinking you're going to try to take the ball away from them, but really what you're going to do is apply a little bit of pressure, but really get in those passing lanes, get in those shooting lanes, and make it feel like he has more pressure than he does. When using those CDMs, when using those defenders, and you're about to get right next to an attacker, make sure to push and pull by holding down the B button on Xbox or the circle button on PlayStation. This move is great for catching up when you're a little bit lagging behind and there's an attacker really trying to break away. You can slow them down, use your strength to really take the ball away from them. Of course, don't hold it too long because that will be a foul, but it's also really good to take up the ball away from the attacker. Whenever you're side to side to an attacker, make sure to push and pull that way just before you're about to make contact with him. That way he can do an extra little nudge and take him off the ball. Here you see that it made him do a terrible shot. And then here in this other example, you can see it is the perfect way to make sure that you take him out of the play and take the ball away from him. Alright, let's get into the meat of this defending, guys. This is my threat image. I introduced this last year and it's still completely true to this day in FIFA 17. This is what you can divide the defense into: the attacking area of the pitch, the danger zones. You can extend this past the penalty box, guys. It goes much farther out, but I just decided to, for visual representation, I decided to keep it as it is. But there's three zones. There's the blue zone, there's a yellow zone, and there's a red zone. The blue zone is the crossing zone, the yellow zone is the cutback zone, and the red zone is the danger zone. 90% of the goals in FIFA 17 and FIFA 16 and all these other FIFAs are done inside that red zone. That's where people want to go. That's where people want to take their shots. Then you have the yellow zone, which is more of a cutback zone. People try to fool you into thinking they're going to that yellow zone, they're going to that blue zone, but really what they want you to do is overplay them so they can cut back into that danger zone where they can actually take good and threatening shots. Keep in mind though, in that yellow zone there are some angles for them to score some long shots, so be aware of that. Make sure to get in those shooting lanes in order to stop those. And then in the blue zone, there is almost no way that they're gonna score. The only reason they're there is to make you overplay them so they can cut in or to cross the ball. So there is no point in you going out towards that blue zone. Stay inside the yellow and the red zone and protect the middle of the pitch. That is the key to do defending, guys. Let's get into some examples. Here we're seeing a blue zone move. He's all the way in the wings. There is no point in me following him. He is not going to do anything. He's either going to cross it or cut in. It is much more dangerous for him to cut in. So get back inside that penalty box and protect the middle of the pitch. Once again, he's in the blue zone. You don't have to follow him out there. Stay back and jockey, guys, because he's going to try to cut in. And the way to beat skillers and the way to beat people that do quick switch of directions, and that's what they're trying to do when they're cutting in, is to stay back and jockey. Eventually, they're going to run out of real estate and they're going to run right into your large frame while you're jockeying, and you're going to be able to take the ball away from them. Very important, since you are letting them cross it, you must clear the ball with the shooting button, which is B or circle on PlayStation. This is very, very important. Once you're jockeying, the ball comes in, clear it with the shooting button. Why? Because it applies a little bit more power, and if you want to get even more power, make sure to clear it right back where the cross is coming from. That way you can really get good power, because he doesn't have to worry about direction. And don't worry about hitting it out of bounds, guys. Don't worry, just clear the ball, regroup on defense. Don't try to get Q. Don't try to pass the ball up the pitch all the way with your center backs. Just clear the ball and regroup on defense. Now let's get into some yellow zone examples. Here we got our first example. He's in the yellow zone. He's in a really dangerous zone. So what you want to do is you want to push him outside towards that baseline, making him lose that angle, that shooting angle. You do not want to get him into that shooting angle, and you want to get in his shooting lane. So start moving, drifting towards that shooting lane and jockeying, protecting against the shooting lane, against the red zone. Here once again, he's in a yellow zone. Once again, I'm not even gonna move. I'm gonna stand my ground, get in his shooting lane, force him into a bad shot like you just saw right there. Beautifully done. It's very, very, very important. Here in the red zone, guys, once again, he's in the middle of the pitch. He's in a dangerous zone. He wants me to attack him so he can do some skill moves. No, stay back, stand your ground, make him make the mistake. This goes back to stay back. My first tip, make him make the mistake. You jockey, stay back, get in those shooting lanes, force him into a bad shot like you saw there. Alright guys, now let's just go to a little bit more tips on some other moves on defending. First one, slide tackle, is done by pressing the X button on Xbox or the square button on PlayStation. This is more of an advanced move just because it's really risky. As you saw there, if you mess up, you're gonna get a foul, even possibly a red card. What you want to do is you want to slide towards where he's going, either in his passing lane or in his shooting lane, his dribbling lane, but not directly at the player. That way, if you miss, it's not going to be a foul. And you also want to do this with your strikers, with your midfielders. That way, if they miss, you still have all your defenders to help you out on defense. You do not want to get exposed by doing this with the center back. Standing tackle is done by pressing the B button on Xbox or the circle button on PlayStation. All you want to do is tap it. This move I recommend even less to do, just because it's extremely, extremely dangerous. If you're new to FIFA, you're not that experienced, don't do this move. If you are, just make sure that you are confident that you're going to get on the ball, because if you start missing, it's very, very easy to abuse you. Next up, we got the second man press, which is done by pressing the RB button or the R1 button if you're on PlayStation. Here you're going to see in slow motion what this move does. It brings over the nearest computer AI controlled player. This is great to make the opponent think he's under a lot of pressure while you're staying back and again protecting the danger zones. Let's end off this tutorial, guys, with just some examples of good defense, putting it all together, guys. It's going to take some practice. It's not going to happen overnight. Defending is incredibly difficult, but if you get good at it, you want to win a lot more games. So here you're seeing some examples. I'm staying back. I'm not really applying pressure, but I am making it look like I am, just because I'm getting in his passing lanes, in his shooting lanes, and then once he gets to the corner, I stay back and protect against the cut-in, allow him to do those crazy things, and then I eventually get the ball, make him force the arrows. Here, I'm using my strikers. If I want to apply pressure, use your strikers. Get in that end of the pitch where if they mess up, it doesn't matter because all your defenders are back there to help you out. Lastly here, he's on the wings. I'm again protecting the middle of the pitch. Let him go to that blue zone, and then once he gets it to the yellow zone, I really try to cut him off and use that push and pull to take the ball away from him. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and share with all your friends. I really try to go really in detail, but if you guys are still having some trouble, you still have some questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do my best to help you guys out. Click on one of these boxes, check out some of my other videos. I have already so many tutorials. You guys do not want to miss those. Click on the top left, top 5 videos, top 5 skill moves, stuff like that. Click on the top right, Ultimate Team, formation reviews, and of course, click in the middle to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future tutorials or tip videos. Thank you guys so much.